Hello everyone, my name is Shri and I am going to be making a series of videos on the book Pragmatic Programmer, which is written by um, David Thomas and Andrew Hunt. You can check out the video in the book on Kindle or buy the book, but I will be making a series of videos on the Pragmatic Programmer. Now, since this is the first video, I am going to be talking about the book. Basically, I will be giving a general introduction, talking about why you want to read the book, who this is for, and talking about what topics I will be covering in future videos as well. So, why should you read the book or listen to my videos? Well, basically, this book will help you become a better programmer. Now, by a better programmer, I do not mean the theoretical aspects of it, but more so concentrating on the practical topics, on using your experience to make more informed decisions. So, what does pragmatic even mean if you don't know? Pragmatic means, in simple terms, it means skilled in business. And programming is a craft. It is a difficult job, in fact, actually, and you are going to run into problems and such. So, and to solve those problems, many people are going to offer you help, which is great and all, but everyone claims that their programming language is the best or this operating system is the best and all, again, which is great. Advice from other people is great. However, of course, none of it is true. There are no easy answers. You can't take everyone's opinion on their face value. There is no best solutions. And this is where pragmatism comes in. You shouldn't be wedded to any particular technology, but have a broad enough background and experience base to allow you to choose good solutions in a particular situation. Now, your background stems from understanding of the basic principles of computing science, and your experience comes from a wide range of practical projects. And both of these combined, that is, theory and practice combined, makes you stronger. Makes you stronger in programming. So who should be reading this book? It is aimed towards people who want to become more effective and more productive programmers. That is, a pragmatic programmer. Pragmatic programmers get the job done and do it well. So why wouldn't you want to be a pragmatic programmer? And you might be wondering, what if I'm already a pragmatic programmer? Well, what if you are? Pragmatic programmers have the following characteristics that I'm going to list, so you will know if you're a pragmatic programmer or not. Well, the first one would be that they are fast adapters. So when given something new, they can grasp it quickly and integrate it with the rest of their knowledge. And they have an instinct for technologies and techniques and love trying things out. Two, they're inquisitive. So they ask questions. This is a really good characteristics to be a great programmer, obviously, actually. So you need to ask a lot of questions for basic things as well. You might not need to use it now, but however, like, it might affect some decision years from now down the line. It might be useful. So it's great to know little facts here and there and ask a lot of questions and know all of these things. 3, be a critical thinker. Now, after asking all of those questions and getting answers, you shouldn't be, again, not take all of those for their face value. You need to think critically about what your colleague says. Like, if they say because that's the way it's done, you need to challenge it. You need to think critically about what you're doing and why you're doing it. 4, being realistic. This is again a very important characteristic as well, since realism gives you a good feel for how difficult things are and how long things take. And fifth, and last but not least, being the jack of all trades. Now, you try hard. Pragmatic programmers try hard to be familiar with a broad range of technologies and environments. You might need to be a specialist in one particular topic for your career. However, it is beneficial for you if you dip your toes in other aspects as well. You will always be able to move on to new areas and new challenges. Now, obviously, all of these things require experience to gain. But if you're a beginner, you have to keep these two things in mind: caring about your craft and think about your work. Well, first of all, if there is no point in developing software if you could care less about what you're creating. It's not an ideal situation for you, especially. And two, think about your work. Do not be on autopilot mode. Think about what you're doing. Again, challenge yourself. First of all, when you're doing something, think about, how is this the most effective way to do it? Is there any other way to do it in less time? If it's the best way, where else can I apply this? And why you're doing it, how you got there, and things like that. Do not ever run on autopilot. It's going to damage you. You just won't be able to critically think. If you're faced with new challenges, new problems, you won't be able to think out of the box. And so, to be a pragmatic programmer, think about your work always. Whatever you do, from the moment you get up to the moment you sleep, the mantra for pragmatic programmers is think. Now, from all of this, you do have to understand that it is a continuous process. You are not going to become pragmatic overnight. However, you do have to keep in mind that you are going to see some changes over a set period of time. If you do keep doing these practices, it is a continuous process. You do have to keep doing it. You are not going to see the results after doing it for one day. You are not going to see that weight loss. If you exercise for one day, it's just not going to happen. So you have to be consistent with these aspects, and then you are going to start seeing results in a matter of days, and you are going to be amazed by what you accomplished in a span of few years. It is a part of your life. It is a way of life, even being a pragmatic programmer. So if it's a way of life, you do have to think, what is the mindset for being pragmatic? And that is where the first section comes in, which is pragmatic philosophy. Basically, in this section, we are going to be talking about topics where it is about what mindset that you could adapt to become a pragmatic programmer. Like, what is the attitude, the style, the philosophy of approaching problems and solutions? How to think? What is the mindset to solve things that makes you pragmatic? Okay, so the first topic of this would be that it's your life. Now, if you are unhappy with where you are, right, career-wise especially, if your job is boring, you do not like it, then what we are going to be discussing now is that basically it is your life. You have the power to change it. Now, as if you didn't know, Vivekananda once said, it's you are the creator of your own destiny. Sorry about that, but you are the creator of your own destiny. So it is your life, and you have the power to change it if you do not like it. This, however, does not mean that I'm not talking about, oh, you don't like this job, or oh, your boss is mean for this one day, and you can quit suddenly out of nowhere. You won't be able to do, most people wouldn't be able to do that. And even that is a privilege that one has, to be able to quit your job if you are, say, underpaid, underappreciated, and things like that. However, that does not mean that if you're unhappy with what you're doing, say you're doing a 9 to 5 job, after your job you come back home, and then the rest of your free time you're sad about that 9 to 5 job. It's just not the way to live or work. And so this is not about telling you that you quit your job, however, which is the desirable end result, albeit the obvious solution. We're more talking about you putting in the effort to change your life, because most of the times you do have the power to change it. Of course, it takes a lot of effort and time. However, it is your life. I think it is fair enough to invest time outside of your 9 to 5 job, your job hours, to invest in yourself, to learn new things so that you can get to where you are. For example, if your work environment sucks, your job is boring, then try to fix it, right? Try to talk to your colleagues if they are the problem. Try to say, oh, this and this and this. Communicate with them, okay? And if your job is boring, try to talk to your boss about doing something more, okay? Or something else if this is not what you want to do. So try to fix it. And however, you do have to remember that you shouldn't be trying forever. That's just redundant at that point. And if the technology seems passing you by, make time to study new stuff that looks interesting. Again, here you are investing in yourself, so doing it while you're off the clock is reasonable. And if you want to work remotely, then you should ask your boss, communicate with people. And if none of these things happen, then plan ahead of time to quit your job and find somewhere else that will accommodate what you need, what you like, and what you enjoy doing. And to do that, you need to think about, for the new place, if they're not hiring you, who are they going to hire, and what do they have that I do not, and how can I become that? So this industry basically gives you a remarkable set of opportunities. You need to be proactive and take them. Again, you need to plan ahead of time, put in a lot of effort and time. However, take the chances, take the opportunities, and be proactive. So after that, now say that you are happy with where you are, right? You're doing your job, you're doing your work. However, you made your mistake. Think of when you were a kid, right? And you go to a teacher. We've all heard of the excuse that my dog ate my homework. That's just not going to cut it in this age and time, basically. You're not a kid anymore. You cannot blame other people for it. So the next topic, which is the cat ate my source code. And here we are going to be talking about taking responsibility. Now, pragmatic programmers do take responsibilities for their mistakes. It's not that when we say that the programmers are pragmatic, it doesn't mean that they're the best. They do everything perfectly without any wrongdoings or nothing. No, even they make mistakes. Something will go wrong. It would go wrong. And however, what differentiates them from normal programmers is that they take responsibility for their actions. When these things happen, you have to deal with them as professionally as you can. You have to be honest and direct. You shouldn't be running around in circles and, again, blaming it on other external factors. this is especially important while working in a team. You need to build a trust in your team, right? And if it's not just you, it's all about, it's about you, your other members as well. When you build trust, right, everyone else around you will also feel comfortable enough to tell you that that they made a mistake, and to communicate it with you, so that at the end of the day you will be able to fix it, right? That's the end goal. It's fine if you make a mistake. It's just everyone in the team needs to be comfortable enough to share that they made a mistake and to take accountability for it. You can't just, so that's why it's important to build trust in teams. And responsibility, I was talking about responsibility, but what it is that basically it's something that you actively agree to, right? You make a commitment to ensure that something is done right, but you don't necessarily have direct control over every aspect of it. So in addition to doing your own personal best, you must also analyze the situation for risks that are beyond your control. You have the right to not take responsibility for an impossible situation, or for ones in which the risks are too great, or other factors, right? You have the right to not take responsibility. However, when you do accept responsibility for an outcome, you should be expected to be held accountable for it. So when you make a mistake or an error in judgment, whatever it is, admit it honestly and try to offer options. Now, taking responsibility doesn't just mean saying I'm sorry and I did this and this and just leaving it at that. You have to offer options. You can't think of the situation in your head, right? Run the scenario in your head. You did something wrong, right? Something went wrong, and say that you're talking to your boss, okay? You go to your boss to tell that something went wrong, and then your boss is going to ask you, well, did you try this and this? And why did this happen? And things like that. And you will have to come up with a solution there at least, right? And think of if your excuse is proper and not lame. Like, do not blame someone or something else, or even external factors. Do not, if you think about it in your head, just make sure that your excuse isn't lame. It's just not very efficient and productive of you to go tell that to your boss, right? Instead, sit there and think about what else can be done to fix that situation. And then after that, go to your boss, tell them something happened, say sorry, apologize, take responsibility, and then tell them this and this and this could be done. And that is the pragmatic way to program. Those are the first two topics of the book, and the first two topics of the first section of the book. And this should give you an idea of what the book is going to be like, and what types of things we are going to cover in these videos. So I hope you enjoyed it, and if there's anything else for me to improve on or anything, comment, and I will make sure to fix it in my next videos. Okay. Thank you and have a good day.